China's growing influence in Africa, a game changer or a new challenge? Africa is at the center of a global power shift, with China emerging as a dominant economic and political force on the continent. While the United States and Europe seek to maintain their influence, Beijing's investments in infrastructure, technology, and trade are redefining international partnerships. But is China's presence a true opportunity for Africa's development, or does it pose new risks? In this report, we explore the implications of this growing relationship and how African nations can leverage it for their economic and political sovereignty. Welcome to this in-depth analysis of China's expanding role in Africa. In the next few minutes, we will break down the historical context, key investments, and the geopolitical competition surrounding Africa's development. If you want to stay informed on global trends and their impact on the future, be sure to watch until the end. Let's dive in. Africa has long been shaped by external forces, from European colonial rule to Western economic policies that often left nations dependent on foreign aid and loans. For centuries, powerful nations exploited the continent's vast natural resources while offering limited opportunities for local development. After gaining independence, many African countries found themselves trapped in new forms of economic dependence through trade agreements and financial obligations imposed by Western nations. This history of external influence has left deep structural challenges that persist today. China, however, presents a different approach. Rather than imposing political conditions or military interventions, Beijing has positioned itself as a strategic partner focused on infrastructure and economic development. Unlike traditional Western powers, China offers investment through large-scale projects that enhance connectivity, industrialization, and trade. A pivotal moment in Sino-African relations was the construction of the Tanzania-Zambia Railway in the 1970s, financed and built by China. This project laid the foundation for long-term collaboration, but it was in the 21st century that China significantly increased its economic presence. The establishment of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in 2000 strengthened ties, resulting in massive infrastructure projects across the continent. Today, China is Africa's largest trading partner, with investments spanning transport, energy, telecommunications, and manufacturing. One of the key drivers of China's engagement in Africa is the Belt and Road Initiative (BRI), a global strategy aimed at expanding trade routes and connectivity. Under this initiative, China has financed and built highways, railways, airports, and ports to facilitate economic exchanges. Notable projects include the Maputo Bridge in Mozambique, the Jibe 3 Dam in Ethiopia, and modern railway systems in Kenya and Nigeria. These investments not only enhance trade, but also stimulate job creation and local industry development. Western powers have reacted strongly to China's growing footprint in Africa. The US and European nations often criticize Chinese loans, arguing they could lead to unsustainable debt. They also express concerns over Beijing's influence in strategic sectors, such as mining and telecommunications. Washington, in particular, has warned about China's military expansion, citing the establishment of a Chinese base in Djibouti as evidence of Beijing's long-term ambitions. Despite these concerns, many African governments argue that China's investments offer tangible benefits without the political conditions attached to Western aid. Countries like Ethiopia and Mozambique emphasize that Chinese-backed projects have significantly improved their infrastructure and economic prospects. Unlike Western financial institutions, which often impose structural adjustment policies, China offers flexible financing arrangements that prioritize development goals. Another significant aspect of China's engagement is the growing use of the yuan in trade agreements. As African nations seek to reduce dependence on the dollar, bilateral currency exchange agreements with China provide new financial options. This shift aligns with Beijing's broader goal of internationalizing its currency while giving African countries an alternative to traditional Western financial systems. In response, the U.S. has promoted countermeasures such as the Lobito Corridor in Angola aimed at enhancing mineral exports. While these efforts signal renewed Western interest in Africa, many announced projects remain in early stages or lack consistent funding. For African nations, the competition between global powers creates opportunities to negotiate better terms and diversify economic partnerships. The geopolitical landscape is shifting as nationalist movements within Africa push for greater sovereignty. Several countries, including Nigeria and Burkina Faso, have reassessed their security alliances, reducing Western military presence. This trend reflects broader dissatisfaction with past interventions and a desire to establish independent defense strategies. China, while expanding its influence, has maintained a policy of non-interference, reinforcing its image as a more neutral partner. Ultimately, the competition between China and the West presents both opportunities and challenges for Africa. If managed wisely, Chinese investment can accelerate infrastructure development and economic diversification. However, if not approached strategically, there is a risk of new forms of dependence. The key for African nations is to leverage international partnerships while maintaining control over their economic and political decisions. As Africa navigates this evolving global dynamic, the question remains: how can the continent maximize the benefits of foreign investments while safeguarding its long-term interests? The answer lies in strategic negotiations, diversified partnerships, and policies that prioritize local development. Thank you for watching this analysis of China's growing role in Africa. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on global trends and their impact on the future. Let us know in the comments. Do you think China's influence in Africa is a game changer or a new challenge? See you in the next video.